Hello! Pleased to show you the demo of Hydra, or the Hydra Head protocol, as it's developed within IOG on the latest release 030. On the repository you will find a demo directory which shows includes instructions how to start what I'm showing here today as well. So would be glad if you can also try it out and give some feedback and whether it works for you as well. And to start, we would need to prepare a devnet. So this version of the Hydra node works against a real Cardano node, which is running locally. So there is a local test net, or like a devnet, we would call it. And if we prepare the devnet, which is basically booting it up from Genesis, we can use the Docker Compose file to just launch a Cardano node and 3 Hydra nodes. So we would see it running now. And for example, if you look at the logs of the Cardano node, you would see it's producing blocks here. It's the only one in this network, but still, that is a Cardano network. I would even see if we fetch the whole UTXO set of this network. We can ask the Cardano node to give us the whole UTXO state. There is only like 3 initial distributions of assets of ADA. It's like 900 million ADA or something, or 900k ADA, to three participants. In our case, this is Alice, Bob, and Carol, as always. And first, before we need to start, in this version of the Hydra node, we are still using some special tricks. We have an internal wallet which tracks the funds to be able to spend things into a Hydra node for each of these participants, so Alice, Bob, and Carol. For that matter, let's watch what's going on on this local chain. I trimmed the output a bit so it fits on screen, or most of it at least. And if I now use seed network or seed devnet, we give basically, or we redistribute this 900k ADA for each of Alice, Bob, and Carol, such that they have like 500 ADA as for Bob, 250 ADA for Carol, and 1k ADA for Alice to commit into a head. So they have some UTXOs they can just bring into a head and have still a lot ADA left for paying for transaction fees. I'll keep that open, which is representing the chain here. And to interact with the Hydra node, we launch a Hydra client, and we have one included, which is a terminal user interface to just demo at least, and demonstrate the API usage under the hood. I launch one terminal, each of the actors have their own terminal here and their own Hydra nodes. So this Hydra TUI client is connected to the Hydra node 1 and 2 and 3, so it's for Alice, Bob, and Carol. And each of them can initiate a head now. If we initiate, we see a transaction has been posted on the chain. We see a lot of puts produced, and in particular these 4 outputs. So opening a head means we create one output, which is the initiated head, which is pending, and one output per participant. Now each of them needs to commit. So let's have Alice commit her 1k ADA, Bob the prepared 500 ADA, and Carol the prepared 250 ADA. Right now there's a limitation here, so we can only pick either we want to have commit 1 or no output into a head. This will change in the future definitely. But and the last commit, if we commit the last bit of output into the head, there is an additional transaction happening. So far we have prepared the 1k ADA, the 5k ADA, 500 ADA, and now if we commit to 250 ADA from Carol, Carol's node will also post a second transaction which collects everything into one output, which is then the opened head. So if we paste this one, this happened. Now we see a single output accumulating all the value committed into a head, which is 1750 ADA plus some overhead which we had collected during the initiation transactions, which is still overestimated right now. So this 8 ADA is accrued from this initial transaction value, but this will change also in the future. Now the head is open, we can do transactions. Alice sends to Carol, for example, which is identified by an address VQA. This is the second one. I want to send to Alice, let's say 700 of those 1000 ADA. And that's it. Transaction already confirmed. So each of the nodes confirmed this transaction has happened, and now we see that the yellow highlighted this Carol's address in the UTXO set, and this one has like 250 and 700 ADA here. Alice now only has 300 left in this head. Let's have Bob also send something to Carol. Sure, she probably bought some, she sold something. So let's have Bob send to, also again, Carol, 100 ADA. So Bob has 400 left, Alice has 300 left, and Carol has now like 3 outputs in the head. We can also send things back, of course, like if we can also send the whole output back. So for example, if Carol now just makes another purchase for 100 ADA, she spends that and sends it back to, let's say, Alice. This would be VRU. So it's a second address here. And for 100 ADA, done again, snapshot 3. So each time we do snapshot the new UTXO state in the head, which can be closed at any point in time. So each of these participants can close the head. So let's have, Carol closes the head after doing this transaction. She closes. And the contestation runs now. This is quite short right now, 10 seconds. But you still see nothing happened on the chain so far. Until now, the head is basically finalized and the assets are distributed on the main chain, on the layer 1 here. The same kind of outputs are reproduced. They have a different address, a different transaction ID, so the transaction reference, the transaction input is different than in the off-chain, but the outputs are just the same. So if these would be script outputs, they would also be script outputs here. The datums would be the same. In this case, it's simply ADA-only outputs. That's about it. That concludes the demo. We can restart another head here. We can bring new stuff in it. Alice now only commits maybe the 300 ADA and so on. And this game can go on forever. And that's Hydra Heads. See you next time.